What it is, guys, it's your boy the Bad Wolf, also known as the Man in Black. You guys ready to get started? Alright, so this particular video is going to be a little bit about the 13th Amendment, alright, and the significance of it that a lot of people don't know. Now, remember, this is coming from your non-belligerent, non-combatant, treaty-neutral individual or person, to the United States from your homeland of Levitica, located somewhere in the middle of the United States of America, the de jure republic. Alright, that being said, educational entertainment purposes. Let's go. So, there was a ruling in California, the Republic, where this particular judge had presided over a jury trial on the debate of titles of nobility. For those people who don't know, any U.S. citizen is not supposed to have a title of nobility, all right? And so the jury presented evidence and arguments that the original 13th Amendment had disappeared after 1812, and this did not ban slavery after the war. The Slavery Amendment should really be the 14th Amendment, okay? So the 13th Amendment was ratified by 3/4 of the Union before the War of 1812. It placed the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, a specific ban against titles of nobility as defined, and then a penalty for those who accepted such titles of nobility or profitable gain from their positions. So the penalty of this was a loss of citizenship status, and you couldn't be in public office. So if you took a title of nobility, you could not be in that time. Now remember, this is back before a lot of things have changed since then, but at this point in time, you couldn't then be in public office, because essentially what we're going to discover here is that they didn't want foreign people with titles in the de jure American government, is what this boils down to, okay? So the common law judge, because that's what they were in those days, were common law judges. We don't have those necessarily now anymore. Closest we would have, you could still say, would be like the Supreme Court of the United States of America, which is where the still yet parts of the de jure American government still lie, while all the rest of it, or almost all the rest of it, is under the U.S. corporation, located in Washington, D.C., by their own codes, okay? So, apparently the jury had reached a unanimous verdict that the ban on titles of nobility had indeed been duly ratified as a lawful amendment, all right, to the Constitution of the United States of America, all right? Now, since the 14th Amendment, possibly should have been the 15th Amendment, did not appear until 1868, the term United States in these provisions means the States United. You guys, okay, with me? All right. And citizen of the United States meant citizens of one of the states united. In other words, citizens of the several states of the Union. All right. Okay, so if you were one who lost your citizenship due to not being able to have a title, this means that a person who was born or naturalized a citizen would lose that status and thereby become an alien with respect to the United States of America. Since the qualifications of serving in federal elective offices require citizenship, an alien is disqualified from eligibility of these public offices. All right. So now the 13th Amendment does not contain any provision for restoring citizenship by renouncing or rescinding a title of nobility. Let's say the farmers of that, or the framers of that amendment had wanted citizenship to be restored to those who renounced their titles, then the amendment would have contained language to make restoration possible. All right, so we're getting kind of deep here, guys. All right, so the original 13th Amendment raised some very interesting questions of law. So, for example, should a law graduate join the bar, British accredited registry, in the state of his domicile, he would join the elite companies of esquires. So, ergo, in America, this is a title, okay, as determined and deciphered by Black Law's Dictionary. And this one is reference to the fifth. All right. So then the question will be asked is, would he then be eligible for office under the original 13th Amendment? No, because apparently the Founding Fathers did not want anybody who was not born here or who took a foreign title to be eligible to be in any form or level of public office or the American de jure government at that time. So this is what they were trying to do, guys. Apparently they were trying to make sure that we don't get into, for educational purposes only, an exact identical situation that most people are in now, not even realizing what layers of this information and things that are taking place currently. That's why so many people, including various officers, those who are clothed in public office, don't know because no one has taught them. Okay? They don't teach civics anymore. They don't teach a lot of this stuff anymore. So it's kind of an archaic thing. But at least some of you guys are willing to stay here in class and listen. So let's go on. Okay, so for instance, yeah, that person would not have any privileges or powers in the de jure American government or supreme law of the land. And also, if that person attempted to cast a vote for anything that was the House of Representatives or whatever else, in the government that was 100% American at that time, that vote would not count at all. All right? So let's see here. We got a little bit more time. Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, so since 1812, the approximate time at which the original 13th Amendment surely became law, how many sessions of the House or Senate were conducted by members who had previously accepted titles of nobility? Should your answer be 100%, then you are more than likely to be right. The shocking fact is that in every session of the House and Senate since 1812 has consisted of members who were attorneys with titles of esquire appended to their names or something of that sort. So according to the original 13th Amendment, had the original 13th Amendment not been destroyed, so at some point in time, I believe when the war broke out, I think the thing was that office or whatever had caught on fire, and so there was only remnants of this particular action. Coincidental, don't you think? And so the original 13th Amendment was destroyed, and then of course we're going to get to a little bit more on that. So it goes on to talk about how about the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917. There's a significant collection of research by Dr. Eugene Schrader, which shows how Congress amended this act in 1933. So I would definitely read on that. There's a lot of information there. I don't have time for all of it, but essentially it goes on, guys, to read, and you can just, any of the stuff I'm talking about, you can Google it. I mean, that's essentially where I find a lot of my stuff, is tracing the pieces. So you don't need a special book or this, that, or the other. You can just Google the terms I've talked about here to find out more about this if you choose to. So essentially the 13th was redone And at that point in time, okay, so here, this is a kind of a key part though. So the, at some point in time, there were British soldiers who were boarding their warships, with their guns in their hands, at the end of the war in 1814. So did they win, or were they vanquished, or did they win? Okay, so or did they just finish burning the Library of Congress, where evidence of the 13th original amendment had been kept under watchful eyes by our record keepers, who fled for their lives? Okay. Uh, so what those soldiers didn't know was that the original 13th Amendment had leaked out to the other states whose record keepers did not suffer a loss of their libraries, where their official versions of the U.S. Constitution shows the 13th Amendment, which bans titles of nobility. So these versions that did not show any ban against slavery, which didn't pass until after the Civil War. Let's see here. A judge of the United States District Court in Texas, Eastern Division, when presented with a certain law, said, "This is not a law that this court goes by. I take my orders from England." Case 6.97-CR-51. There you guys go. So here, a federal judge confirmed the fact that the United States is under a different rule. America has never been free, well, at least not completely, in sections and pieces. But let's see here. Okay. So it just goes on to say that many people essentially today do not realize that. Okay, so long story short, guys, with this particular passage, they're saying that a lot of people who are still in office today, it's a federal government, okay, which if you have done your research or watched any of the stuff, we know that the United States, you can Google as the United States, a corporation and where it's located. So that being said, a lot of people who are in these offices, who are good people, don't realize that up the ladder, how things are really being run, because it's a jurisdictional thing and it's a paper trail. And if you're not willing to follow the paper trail, which none of their bosses or any of them are going to just show them, because why would you do that? It'd be like a pimp telling his ladies, this is how you can be free and live on your own without my services. Not going to happen. So don't give these people a hard time. They just legitimately don't know. So for you people who are just now learning about this stuff or whatever else, understand this. Most of these people are just doing their jobs and they don't know what's going on. So that's why it's good to send your paperwork off. It's good to be non-belligerent, non-combatants, and peaceful, self-governing, and giving them a chance to know this information or to wake up. And here's the thing, guys, and there's people who know about this, and there's some people who don't know about this. And don't force anybody to try to learn something they don't want to. Some birds are happy in their cage. Along the lines of talking about, religion and politics and the bad wolf. Some of these topics are not for everybody, and so when they're ready, let them find it. And if they're never ready, then let them close their cage behind themselves and be happy where they are. Never drag anybody out, never force any information on them. You do your thing, govern yourself accordingly, and stay wise, stay woke, and stay aware. So that's about it, guys. I definitely appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for stopping into this educational session of civics and the United States of America History channel. That is it. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe on the way out. And I will talk to you guys later. Feel free to send some donations. Remember, now you can go to blacksite32.com and click on the coffee button and send me a donation of your choosing, should you feel so moved. Otherwise, there's lots of free information there and deals that you guys should check out, so do that at your leisure. I will talk to you later because I got more books to read. Over and out.